Hello everybody, it is BYG Agami back with another video. Today I'm joined with Dimsy's Domain. Please introduce yourself.
Yo, what's good? Check out the Facebook page, check out the Twitter page, and thank you all of you for being a valued member of the community of Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS, the fan page and the Facebook page and whatnot. Yeah, check out the other videos. Thank you. Hello.
So when we look at Yu-Gi-Oh! Very early on in each series, we know that the characters, at least the protagonists, go through some sort of guidance. They have some sort of guidance. For Yugi, it was a Tim. For Judai, it was Winkaribo and then Yubel. And then for Yusei, it was the Crimson Dragon. And you want to talk about Zexal on Arc 5?
For Zexal, it was more so Astro being the lead, being the guider, being the guide to Yuma, because Yuma was absolutely horrible character. Some 13-year-old chubby little kid who had absolutely no dueling premise. I'm sorry, I hate Yuma. For Yuya, in terms of guidance, I would say that he's always been motivated and been inspired by his dad, and also with him joining the Lancers at the end, and also knowing the fact that he's part of 4 little doppelgangers who make up a final other character, which I'll rather not spoil. But I think that is very, very interesting in terms of the guidance, and definitely in Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS, we know that the guide for Yusaku is none other than Ignis, so that is something to marvel at.
Yeah, and the thing is, we look at VRAINS differently from all the other Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, and the whole reason why is because of the new director, and I think that Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS is going to have a different taste to it, and I think that for the first time in Yu-Gi-Oh! That the guidance is actually not going to be guidance, and they're going to be using it for their own reason, and that is Ignis for this instance. So Dims, do you want to tell the first reason why not to trust Ignis?
Well, you really shouldn't trust Ignis because he doesn't tell the full story. Now, beforehand, we knew that the guides for our respective characters didn't tell the full story because they didn't know the full story themselves. They were lost. They were trying to regain their memories. Now, to a sense, we get the assumption that Ignis doesn't know the full story himself. However, even when Ignis is having those thoughts, or he's having his little thought processes like mentally that he keeps to himself, he should really tell Yusaku, but he doesn't, because he doesn't trust Yusaku. He doesn't trust that he's valued enough in Yusaku's eyes. So I think that that can cause a lot of mischief and a lot of distrust between the two, and I think that's something that could either be ironed out or can actually lead to a potential betrayal down the future. So I know it's a bit far-fetched, I know it's a bit extreme, however, it is definitely something to keep your eye on. Another thing to keep your eye on is the fact that with Ignis not telling the full story, it can either be detrimental if Yusaku wasn't as good as he was. If it was any other duelist, it really would have turned, you know, the events would have been somewhat different, especially against the Knights of Hanoi, against maybe Blue Angel. So why does Ignis always need to trick Yusaku to do what he needs to be done? Why is Ignis, why is he playing games with Yusaku in terms of, hey, do this, hey, do that, hey, do this, hey, do that? Ignis is all about himself, and that's what makes it even more interesting. I don't think you should trust Ignis. I don't think you should trust him at all.
I agree, and the other reason why it might be that is because he's an AI. He's a program, essentially, and he was probably programmed that way. Now, we don't really know the whole collective consciousness on Ignis. It might be similar to DSOD, where, you know, all the other AIs out there have sort of the same brain length, but I think that Ignis probably over time could probably reprogram himself. Maybe that's why he's doing it for his own reasons, but I think that we're just gonna have to wait and see. But as for the second reason, he was looking at Yusaku intentionally. Now, if you guys remember in the first episode, when Yusaku was dueling that Knight of Hanoi on that building, that beautiful building, we see that Ignis is looking through, I forget, like some sort of gargoyle, and he was looking at Yusaku specifically. Out of all the people in Link VRAINS, why would he be looking at Yusaku Fujiki? Because of one thing: he is the playmaker. He's the top of the top. He's the vigilante, and he's also a smart person. Now, since Ignis is an AI, he probably has the abilities to figure out what Yusaku's real identity is, and that is shown later on through the episode. And I think that there is no other candidate in VRAINS that can reach the greater good for Ignis than Yusaku himself.
I think that Ignis had an idea that, okay, this guy's something special, and one thing that's interesting was the fact that before Yusaku made his appearance and dueled against the Knight of Hanoi, there was very little appearances. There was no records of Yusaku in Link VRAINS. He deleted all of them. So how Ignis suddenly found Yusaku, or how he was observing Yusaku, was a tad suspicious. But you can chalk it up to maybe, oh, it's just the general aesthetic of the episode. They just want to introduce all of these characters within the next few minutes, and this might be a convenient way to introduce all of them. So there is that. I know we are maybe, you know, clutching straws here, but at the same time, you can't ignore the fact that out of all people, you see Ignis looking at Yusaku. Why couldn't the first interaction be later on? It wasn't really an interaction, but why couldn't they be in the same scene later on? But I think that although being somewhat vague, but the next and final and the third reason for why you cannot trust Ignis is he's a bit crazy. Yeah, I know. No, wait, trust me. It's very Terminator-esque. He is very crazy. As you said, he's an AI, but he's a very, very advanced AI. And with that, he's also been talking to other machines, as he's been talking to the other, I think, house, but in Yusaku's house, that made the other AIs of the dual disc. Is something a bit dodgy? Is he trying to coerce? Is he trying to inspire a robotic army for later on? And that really could be the case, because every single time when, let's say, Yusaku's gone outside and Ignis is at home, he's busy manipulating and brainwashing these other machines, and as soon as Yusaku comes, it's as if he's hiding something. So honestly, as trivial as it might be, as funny as it might be, those scenes, and comical as it may seem, it may actually be something far more sinister, far more menacing, or far more heroic down the line. Maybe he might do it for the greater good later on, but I really do doubt that. Ignis is extremely selfish. He has come across as an extremely selfish person, self-serving, only to himself. Because remember, he is, so far to our knowledge, till at least 10 episodes in, he is the sole survivor of his race, whereas the other ones are either trapped, destroyed, but I'm assuming they're going to be trapped. So the way I look at it is the fact that the way Ignis works is, I think that he has definitely something to hide, and him talking to these machines only furthers and causes the mystery. What do you reckon about Ignis talking to these machines? Do you think it's just for comic relief, or do you think that maybe there might be something more sinister?
There definitely has to be something more sinister, because we know that, from what we know, Ignis probably originated from Link VRAINS, and there might be a huge difference on how technology works in Link VRAINS and then Den City itself, the real world. So since Ignis is a much more advanced AI, he probably has the ability to hack into these other machines that are lower on the spectrum in terms of intelligence. So I could see that playing out where he's just, you know, racking up these machines, and over time he's going to plan his schemes.
Yeah, we might even come to a point where, as I said, and I kind of alluded in the previous videos, but what if Ignis is going to do a heel turn? I think that what if Ignis is actually a bad person? Remember this, in the first episode, all of the other comrades of his race hated him, absolutely hated him, they despised him, and he was like, oh, how ironic is it that all of you lot are tied up and I'm the only one who's free, so you have to rely on me. So maybe he's known to be a very mischievous little creature. He's a bit of a snake. Who knows? I'm not saying that Ignis is going to be evil, but what I am saying that he might cause more problems than actual solutions to further issues. So that is something just to look at and just to be mindful of.
Yeah, I mean, we're just gonna have to wait and see, but it's nice to say these theories, and I also want to hear your guys' thoughts down below on 3 reasons why you guys shouldn't trust Ignis, or we shouldn't trust Ignis as well. Because the thing is, in these past couple of videos, we've been saying that the Knights of Hanoi might do this, Soul Technology might do this, Ignis might do this, Akira Zaizen might do that. VRAINS is very good in the sense of confusing us up, along with just creating fan theories left, right, center. And I do appreciate that, because it's nice to think about a series like that. However, guys, check out the Facebook and Twitter fan page for Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS. In addition, subscribe to Dimsy's Domain. His channel will be linked down below. The best Digimon tuber on the planet. And see you guys later.